Hey, how's it going? What's going on? Today we are going to be talking about how I met my husband. This is a story time that I have honestly been wanting to do for so long, but I just never got around to it. My husband just left for a business trip. He'll be gone for the next couple of days. And I've been communicating with him. He's at the airport right now. But it just made me think, like, I've never done a video on how I met my husband. I love story times. Story times have been one of my favorite things to watch on YouTube since I discovered that YouTube wasn't only for music, which was over 10 years ago. That's another story for another time. But today we're going to be going back in time to 2006 when I met my husband. Okay, I don't know why I like to take pictures whenever I'm filming, just to see what it looks like. So I have my cup of coffee, which I noticed today, I'm pretty sure this is a left-handed cup of coffee. Unless, I mean, I'm the one that's really, hello love, hello, how you? Doing great? But, okay, so I have my coffee. The girls are sleeping. I'm trying to do this video before they wake up. We do have an orthodontist appointment in a few hours. I thought it would be fun to do a little video while I had a little free time. This is so good. It's literally just 4 espresso pods and a little splash of milk and some sugar. So delicious. So we're going back in time, which actually the story I would say probably would, it would be more fitting if we start the story in 2005. No, 2006. We are still in 2006. I lied. So the beginning of 2006, I was in a breakup. Me and my high school little sweetheart, which technically my husband is like my high school sweetheart also because I met him when I was 11th grade, something like that, going into 12th, but that's another story for another time. And then, as I've said before, I did not traditionally finish out school, so I'm just giving you the age point or the grade point for reference. So I was in my final years of high school when I met my husband, but earlier in the year 2006 I had a breakup with my long-term, which long-term back then I was like 17. Long-term was literally over a year, right? So I don't even remember how old I was when I got together with my previous high school boyfriend, or how long we were together. I just remember that it was April 2006 and we broke up. And if not for that breakup, I would have probably never met my husband. So we broke up, me and my ex, and I dated a few people in between meeting my husband. I dated a few people while I was working at the place that I met my husband at, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So me and my high school sweetheart with parentheses because my husband is my actual high school sweetheart. But anyways, so when me and my ex high school sweetheart broke up, I ended up moving in with my older sister. I moved in with my older sister and she was living in New Orleans proper, and I was staying with her, and one of my cousins came to visit that summer, and they were like, hey, why don't you come stay with us? We have this 1-year-old daughter. My wife is trying to get back to work. Why don't you come with us and help us with the baby while we're trying to get back to work and do all these different things and just get everything going. They needed a little bit of help, and that was fine. I was like, cool, whatever. I basically went and moved in and became their live-in nanny. I was basically a live-in nanny for them, and they offered room and board, and I just basically watched the baby while they went to work. Eventually, after a month or so, my cousin was like, hey, my aunt from my other side of my family, her and her husband run this pizza place, and we're thinking it might be a good idea for you to have a job a few nights a week, and that way to help out with everything. And I was like, cool, totally, let's go. Let's do it. It was not my first job. It was actually my third job. But I ended up being like, let's go, let's do it. Your cousin's my cousin, right? Your aunt's my aunt, right? So I was basically going to work with my cousin's aunt. I don't, it's, the family dynamic is a little bit strange. I think my cousin's mom, who is my aunt by marriage, or by baby mama, I guess. I don't think, she might have been married to my uncle. I'm not sure. My uncle is the one who is my blood. I don't really recall him being married, like talk about, but I do remember him just having like different girlfriends or partners or whatever. His wife, or baby mama, rest her soul now, Miss Jerry. Love you, Aunt Jerry. She was adopted into the family, the Bertucci family, or it might not even, I knew them through the Bertuccis, okay? That's like my cousin's grandparents, like on the other side of the family. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure the Bertuccis adopted my aunt. And it was like her cousin or something like that, or her aunt or something that ran the pizza shop. But anyways, they're basically family, right? Okay, so I went to work for the pizza shop, and I was working there a few nights a week during September, I think is when I started, September of 2006. We just kind of, I had a cousin that worked there for a little while, my cousin Joey, and I was just working there. I was like, all right, cool, this is, you know, my job, whatever. This is cool. Well, one of the managers was this young lad, my husband. He wasn't my husband then, of course, but one of the younger managers, not, I guess he was an assistant manager, but he wasn't like the general manager. But a short time after we met, he did become general manager of a few different restaurants. So my husband is a go-getter, and that's for sure. And he's also really good with people, like working with people, but not only working with them, but developing their skills for like life, you know. Very good at developing people and helping them gain lifelong skills, I guess I should say. I'm not very good with words all the time. Okay. Anyways, so my husband was one of the managers, and at first we were very professional, but then eventually we started flirting, and then eventually that led to dating, and the rest is history. So that's the end of this video. Bye, see you later. Okay, I'm totally kidding. But yeah, I did date a few people while I was working at the business that I met my husband at. And eventually, though, him and I did get together. And this is something about, like, back in the day workplace soap operas, I guess. But a lot of times, sometimes they would have, like, you sign papers and it would say, like, no dating anyone that works here, no this or no that. But a lot of times businesses didn't actually, what's the word, enforce that part of the rules. A lot of times they didn't enforce that part of the rules. We ended up starting to date, and we dated for a while before we got together early 2008. So basically all of 2007 I was just single but dating, and then there was a couple people that I was like off and on again with, and almost full-time going steady, for lack of better terms. But some of it was definitely me not using my brain, Because back then I was still a silly little teenager, and I did have a problem with prescription drugs. Now, mind you, the reason a lot of that started was because I have really bad period cramps. I still have really bad period cramps, and I really don't have anything that gives me relief for those period cramps. And when I was younger, I was like, what can fix this? And people were like, hey, you can take some pain pills or some muscle relaxers. And that works really well. It works too well, because then it makes you want to take them for more than just your ailments, right? You know, they're very addictive. I also have a very addictive personality. Why did I say personality that way? Personality? Personality. I have a very addictive personality. I get it from my family members who in the past have also had addictive personalities. Both sides of my family have characteristics of addictive personalities. So I really drew the short end of the stick when it comes to that gene pool part of me. Anyways, I've learned what my triggers are, and I've learned how to avoid going down a path of destruction. I've learned to identify that, so I am no longer that person. But when I was younger and just meeting my husband, I was definitely... In fact, my husband, even though he met me probably at my worst, he always saw the best in me. And I don't think anyone's ever seen the best in me like he has. And it's really just a testament to that saying, if he wants to, he will. Girlies, if he likes you, you will know. There's no games that men play when they like you. So if he likes you, he will tell you. He will show you, in fact. Okay? But my husband always was able to see the good in me, and I think like he knew that if I had a clear head on my shoulders, I would be unstoppable. I would be absolutely unstoppable. And it proved to be right, because I did, in fact, go on to have a pretty, I guess I would call it a career, I guess. I did have a pretty good career, and I could have moved up more, but it just wasn't something I wanted to do, quite frankly. I was okay where I was at. But we're jumping ahead. That is completely another company that I'm talking about. When me and my husband started dating, early 2008, we would just kind of hang out a lot, and we would just be together. And then the summer came, and my friends all wanted to go out and go different places and go do different things, and they really wanted to just be busy that summer, hot girl summer. And I was like, okay, look, we have to break up. I called him and I was like, we have to break up. Ew, look at this hair that just came out of my head. Yeah, I know, right? So I called him and I was like, look, we have to break up. And then I had a hot girl summer. I didn't really date anyone that summer, but I didn't have sexual relations that summer. But I did, I'm trying to think about, I did see a couple people that might have been romantic interests if I would have really been interested, but I wasn't really interested in anyone else. I was just kind of trying to have a hot girl summer with my friends, but I guess people might have been interested in me, and I might have indulged in that just a little bit, but not like anything crazy. Again, we didn't do anything. There wasn't anything that I did that I would later regret. So awesome. We ended up getting back together in August of 2008. So again, right after Hot Girl Summer. He was actually seeing one of my friends during my Hot Girl Summer. Somebody that I went to school with like for a long, long, long time. Maybe even since like the beginning of school. I wish I knew where all those yearbooks were. I think I have yearbooks somewhere, and I will go look and see. But I know that I've seen her in school since like third grade, if not earlier. But her and I are still very close. We're still friendly with each other. I'm pretty close with almost all the people that I went to school with. We might not talk all the day. We might not talk all the time, but we definitely do still talk from here and there, and it's nothing but love for all of them. So we both ended up like, just doing our own thing that summer. Hot girl summer, hot boy summer, but then we ended up getting back together in August of 2008, and ever since then it's just been him and I against the world, baby. But anyways, I'm just kidding. Well, I mean, not really, but so 2008 August, we got back together. The same day that we got back together, we ended up getting married. That was August 14th, 2008, we went on a date to the zoo. Well, we parked in Algiers and then rode the ferry downtown. And then I think we rode the streetcar to the zoo. It was a long time ago, okay? I think that's what happened. I have pictures, and I have pictures from the ferry all the way to the zoo. Like, I don't think I have too many on the streetcar. That's why it's throwing me off. I'm like, did we go on the streetcar? How did we get there? I don't remember. Maybe I didn't take pictures of the streetcar, because streetcars sometimes are packed, man. And I don't always feel comfortable taking pictures while all kinds of other people are in the frame, even back then. But we had our first date August 14th, 2008. That makes me want to see. His flight is in an hour, but I kind of want to just see what he's doing. Yeah, let's see. Where's my... Yeah. I wonder if when he goes on the airplane, will the Life 360 still work? Will I be able to see him zooming across the sky from MSY to Dallas? I don't know. Probably not. Because you have to put it on airplane mode. But yeah, he has about an hour until his flight. So we continued dating and we continued working at the same place, which actually I quit there a couple times. And then I walked out once. They should have never hired me back. But when they did hire me back, when my head was on right, they didn't regret it, because then I went with the company. Let me make sure this hasn't stopped recording. Oh wow, I have 29 seconds left. Okay. Okay, we're back. I had to change the battery and I had to restart because we were coming up on the 20-minute mark. Some of that 20 minutes I might have been blabbering and it might get cut out and I might have gone off topic. Some of it might just be me thinking, what am I supposed to be doing next? Regardless, I don't think it's 20 minutes worth of, well, it is 20 minutes worth of footage. I don't think it's 20 minutes worth of usable footage. So we shouldn't be at the 20-minute mark yet, but pretty close. So let's move on. I don't think they regretted hiring me back, even given my history of, I think it was just that one time that I actually walked out. I don't know if I quit other than that. And I'm sorry, Willie. I was on drugs. But when I came back, I was given the nickname Tenacious T because my tenacity was outstanding and I wasn't mad at it. I used to write Tenacious T on my cup. It was a lot of fun. I have pictures from back then. Oh, and Miranda. Rest in peace, my dear. it was a vibe. That job was such a vibe, and it was such a fun high school job. And then, yeah, it was great because I met my husband there. So awesome. But, anyways, getting back to the story. So, I ended up excelling and becoming like I worked on the floor like as a server. I ended up excelling, and they would start calling me the floor manager and the person that was like the lead floor server, and if something was going wrong, Hippie can fix it. It's not my real name, but anyways, my real name starts with a T. That was the whole Tenacious T part, but anyways, Tenacious H is what we'll call it from here on out, I guess. Tenacious H. Da, 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 da. No copyright, please, Jack Black. I love you. I'm not. Look, tenacious is not copywritten. It is a word, okay? Okay. Being so silly. I am actually very silly all the time, so it's funny that I'm actually doing this in front of the camera. Anyways, it's probably because I had all this coffee, all this espresso. I'm about to drink the rest of this right now. Did I need the rest of that espresso? Heck no. Is it gonna help me? Heck no. Anyways, so I was quickly becoming a person that people went to when they knew they needed something to get done the right way. They knew it would get handled. I was just that person that oversaw a lot of what was going on. But anyways, so I was oftentimes in charge of what was going on the floor where the servers were, making sure everything stayed clean. I still have dreams about that, actually. I still have dreams about the same location that I worked at where I met my husband, being there, and just like sometimes in the dream I'll just walk in and I'll go put my purse where it goes or where we used to put it, and then I go walk onto the floor and then I just start working. Bro, those dreams are weird because I wake up and I'm like, I haven't worked there in almost 20 years. No, not almost 20 years. Almost. Like 15, almost 15, something like that. I don't know. I left that job in 2012. My husband left that job in 2011, and then we both went and worked for the same company, but different locations. I'm getting ahead of myself again. So we both worked there. He was a manager, but I was like the lead floor server, and we kept it professional. If anything, he picked on me more than giving me leeway or showing favoritism to me. So there was nothing to worry about in that department, which most people do worry if you're like dating within the company, like someone, especially if one of those people is a higher up, that they will give you favoritism. That was not the case at all. So I am just remembering that one time I was working on the cash register and it was time to close out my till. And my husband, who at the time was just my manager, was counting my register. He was, closing it out, making sure that everything was in order. And I just remember him counting the ones, which just so happened to be like 60 ones, as he would tell it 62. But he was counting the ones. And then he slapped me in the face with them. It was a light little tap, nothing serious. But I just remember being absolutely appalled. Like, sir, what are you doing? That is disgusting. Quite frankly, I'm still deeply disturbed by his actions. I'm just kidding. It was all in good fun.
every once in a while, he still jokingly brings it up and he'll just randomly say 62 ones, which is hilarious. But all this to say that, like, I didn't get shown favoritism. If anything, he picked on me more. And I guess some people would say that in itself is clear favoritism. But like, I didn't get away with not doing my job, you know? I still had to work extra hard to please the bosses.
So we were still dating and we both were doing very good. The company that we were working for, I'm talking about we were both doing very good in the companies that we were working for. So the company we were working for was expanding and they were doing different restaurants getting like redone and revamped, and they needed like a training team to go to those restaurants, and then they were building new restaurants. They needed training teams to go to those new restaurants, and me and my husband both were on the training team, and we went to a few different locations to help them with the revamping, retraining, renewing, or just flat out building from the ground up. We ended up moving permanently from the location we met to a location 20 miles away. I don't know. Some people still call it the greater New Orleans area, but I beg to differ because there's so much like green space between New Orleans and where we were, St. Charles Parish. I beg to differ. It's not the greater New Orleans area, but according to Hollywood and people that don't live over here, it's close enough. It's close enough. Let's see. How far is the Boutique Walmart from me? Don't say anything else. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it's about 30 minutes. It's about 19 miles. So yeah, 20 miles. Okay. So we were working at the location in St. Charles that was brand new, and actually it was so much fun. There was like a few things that I did that I was stupid for, but for the most part it was fun, and we met a whole lot of people that are still our friends to this day. Like, we still talk to every once in a while. We get together. It's been a long time since we got together, actually, but a lot of the people we are still friendly with, and some of the relationships we made over there are lifelong relationships. They are friends to the end. They are some people that no matter where we are, how far we seem from each other, whether it is our viewpoints or just where we are, what is like profession, where we are like professionally, even though we're not in the same profession anymore, we're still super close. We're still like one of the people I talk to almost all the time. It's my friend Maddie, and I also talk to Haley a lot. But my husband and Haley were always like super close, and me and Maddie were always super close. I think for the most part, those are, oh, and then, yeah, there's a lot of other people though, like that we met back then that I still talk to. But those are the two that I think of like as being our besties. Oh, no, I totally forgot about Christine. Christine's a bestie too. So there's so many people that we met over there, and so much fun that we had. Unfortunately, that restaurant did not last very long. There is a lot of things that probably went into the downfall of that restaurant, all of which I will not be naming here. This is not about that. But we were both working at that restaurant together, and I was, what was going on? My husband realized early on that things were not looking all that great for the company. And he had been with that company for about 10 years. I think 7, 8, 9, almost 10 years he had been with that company. He had started working for that company when he was like 15, 16, and he very quickly moved up to a management position while he was still a teenager. So he had really worked with that company for a long time, and he learned a lot from that company. And even in the final days of him working with that company, he was still learning things from it, and it just was a pivotal point in our relationship, but also his work relationships and just the direction he decided to go in. He still decided to go into food service. That is probably our favorite line of work, food service. I don't know, I like food service as well. Me and Maddie used to have this little saying that, like, we worked at a buffet. Okay, it was like a buffet, a pizza place in a buffet. There is a couple of them. It's one of the ones that you're thinking of, yes. So we didn't have macaroni and cheese pizza, though, if that gives you any idea. So Maddie and me used to have the same mindset when it came to working. And it was, this is our stage. And we really did treat it like a stage. So like you would put on a performance almost. It's, oh yeah, sure, I'll get that for you. And actually to this day, I don't think I can do my customer service voice. Like I can never just do it. I have to be in that moment, like literally in that moment. But I'll give it a try. Most recently, my last job, I worked at a drive-thru. Let me see if I can... Thanks for switching lanes to get to Raising Cane's. How can I help you today? Cuckoo Cachoo, 1 box or 2. Chicken, chicken, chicken. What combo are you picking?
So I just remembered 2 more of my favorites. Thanks for the stop at your number 1 chicken spot. Tell us what you got. Or thanks for the drop by your number 1 chicken spot. I don't really remember it. That was one that we improvised. And there's another one that I absolutely adored, and it was chicken, chicken, chicken. We even have chicken on a bun. What can we get for you on the run? Everyone hated that one, though, because it drove drive times up.
So my work voice is, and I don't think I've ever said that before, but my last job that I had was at Raising Cane's. I do not work there anymore. I'm actually a stay-at-home parent now. Yay, yay. That's actually something that we always talked about, me and my husband, that eventually I would stay home with the kids. And I did quit my job a few years ago. I think like 4 years ago now. I quit my job and we decided I would stay home and teach the kids. But we ended up changing jobs. And he left the company that we met at in 2011, and then I ended up leaving in 2012. And really, there's not much more to the story. We got married in 2015. We just had our 10-year wedding anniversary. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know, thank you. Here's to 10 more, and then 10 more after that. But I am so thrilled and pleased and ecstatic that I found my person, and that even though, like I said, some points in my life were just stupid and influenced by different things or people, or indulged in different mind-altering chemicals. And luckily, he was able to see that even in my darkest of times, the person that I could be, the person that he knew I was destined to become, was still inside of there. And it just needed a little bit of work and a little bit of cracking that tough exterior before getting to the gooey inside. I'm not Candy, but okay. That's just what I like to think about. I remember seeing some videos of people who have done how I met my fiance or how I met my husband or how I met my boyfriend videos. And most of the time, those videos, I really enjoy them. And I'm thinking of one specifically, though, that it came out a long time ago, and I'm not even sure if it's still there or if it was even how I met my husband. I think it was titled something a little bit different, but it was by Tara Henderson. And I remember just really relating to her story and wanting to, at some point in time, tell my story, which was somewhat similar because she said that she found Adam when she was probably at one of her lowest points of her life, and he really helped her to become the person that she knew she could be, the person she was destined to be. And I just feel that way about my husband and my relationship. It's just so warming, and again, if he wanted to, he would. So if anyone's out there right now just like, oh, I wonder if he likes me, why does he act that way, does he actually like me? If you're having those doubts, seek help, please, because if he wanted to, he would. If he liked you, he would show you, and you would not even question it. Dudes are simple, bro, and I don't mean that in like a derogatory way at all, but I mean that like there is no subliminal messaging, there is no little things like that. It's very straightforward with men, okay? So if he wanted to, he would. If he hasn't, he probably doesn't want to. Don't settle for someone that makes you feel bad or holds something over your head or says, you can't get anything better than me, sweetheart. Don't settle for people like that. Find your person, and your person will absolutely make you feel like a queen or a king or whatever you identify as. Your person is going to make you feel loved and not at all left behind or disrespected or not worth it. They're going to make you feel worth it. So, if you learned anything from this video, let it be that. Okay? So that's everything for this video. I am going to be signing off now. I just wanted to do a little video. I'm about to be checking in on my husband. He should be boarding within the next 20 to 30 minutes. And I'm going to be waking up my children soon because, again, my oldest daughter has an orthodontist appointment today, and my youngest child needs a sitter. I always go get my mom when she's available as a sitter. My mom doesn't drive. She uses public transportation, and I just don't want her using public transportation. If she's coming to my house, girl, I'll come get you. Now, it's a different story when she goes to the doctor because she refuses anyone to bring her unless it's something like she needs to go pick up something that's very heavy from the doctor, which has happened before. I know you're probably thinking, what? Why would you need to do that? Believe me, it's happened. This is New Orleans. It's not a real place, as most people would say from here. It's a real place, but it does things ass backwards, and I'm trying not to cuss anymore, but I can't like help it. That's how New Orleans is. They're ass backwards. So yes, carrying heavy things home from the doctor is not too far-fetched. I'm gonna go get my mother though. She's always the one that watches my children, but I am going to be waking them up soon. But as far as this video goes, that's everything. I hope to see you on the next one, and bye. See you later.